Hey guys, I think most everybody has seen by now that Noah got a special package from Treyarch, and I'm expecting other YouTubers to get packages as well, but it looks like he got the statue of Odin that we saw in the Voyage trailer. This thing is obviously identical, and what's interesting is that his statue shows Odin's name at the base, and that is actually on the base on the trailer, and we just did not catch that. Also, I think Noah's statue might have broken because his spear is supposed to be straight, so that's unfortunate. Also, there's a new symbol that showed up on the base, and shout out to FTJ Gaming for messaging me about this. This is actually the symbol of Odin. It's called a Valknut, and it represents slain warriors. In Norse mythology, warriors who had lost their lives in battle earned themselves a place in the Grand Hall overseen by Odin. When you flip the statue upside down, there's all of this alchemy on the bottom, and shout out to Zeroy. I talked to him about this and some of the cipher solvers in the community, and he's saying that they're thinking this is a wheel cipher. The symbols would equal some kind of number, which can then be translated into letters and solved. But unfortunately, wheel ciphers typically need some kind of a password. This might be a situation where we're getting just a little bit of information about this language, like we did with the Apothicon language, and then much later on, when it was like DLC 1 or 2, we finally got a chart and were able to translate some of it. So we might be having to wait a while. Noah also received some information saying, "Welcome to the Chaos story," or something like that. And if you look up chaos in Greek mythology, it says that it was the very first of all, the origin of everything, the empty, unfathomable space at the beginning of time. So I could see how that could influence the backstory for Black Ops 4 Zombies. There's probably a lot more to investigate on that and speculate on. But one thing I do want to talk about, and maybe even correct, and go over some information that I was really thinking about, and I think I've got some new ideas about what these statues could be. So we've got the Odin statue confirmed from Norse mythology, and that's what was in the Voyage trailer. And then we also got an image from Treyarch, and when you piece it together, it definitely looks like Zeus sitting on his throne. However, when I did some further research, I realized that this could actually be Jupiter from Roman mythology. They're practically identical. They both throw lightning bolts. They're both the ruler of the sky and the king of the gods for Roman and Greek mythology. They both have an eagle as a messenger, and pretty much everything lines up except for, one is Roman and one is Greek. And then they're also married to different people in those mythologies. So although they are almost identical, they are definitely two different types of gods and are represented in those mythologies as being different. So I certainly wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Waffle Waffles or somebody like that gets a statue and it says Jupiter on it, and then we're all like, what? But most likely it'll say Zeus. That seems to be more popular than Jupiter. So now that Odin is confirmed as one of the statues, and we know that the other one is probably Zeus or Jupiter, and that these are totally different mythologies, I wanted to see what's going on here, and I realized that they actually do have something in common. Originally, as a community and myself, we're all looking at this from a perspective of, these guys probably are representing the perks, and since they're gods, they have powers, so how do their powers relate to perk machines that we already know about, and which ones could they represent? And after looking at the clues and looking at the similarities and what's really going on here, it seems like that's not the case. I do still think that they probably represent perks, but not in the way that we're thinking. So far, two different mythologies are being represented with these statues, and that's throwing everyone off. But if you look at what they actually have in common, both of them, Odin and Zeus, in their mythologies are king of their gods. So I don't think we're seeing a representation of powers and different powers of all the different gods in one mythology. I think we're looking at a situation where they're representing the top god of all gods in different mythologies. And if they keep going with this theme, showing kings of gods in different types of mythologies, and if we look at what we've seen so far, we've seen Roman and we've also seen Egypt, then it makes sense that we might see some statues that are representative of the kings of gods in Roman and Egypt. So for Norse, we've seen Odin already. For Greek, we're thinking that's Zeus. And then Roman, we might see a Jupiter. And then for Egypt, we might see Amun-Ra. He's the king of gods there. And I'm only representing the mythology that we've seen in the trailers. I really can't come up with anything else that we've seen. So I'm thinking, maybe these four, and then there could be others. Obviously, Odin was confirmed, and we're still not confirmed on Zeus or Jupiter. It's got to be one of those. But I'm feeling really strongly about one of them being Amun-Ra. As you can see here, it says, among all the multitude of Egyptian deities, the god Amun was considered to be the king of the gods, which makes sense that it would be him, and he matches up with the other guys being kings of their gods. I still think these are representing perks, but I don't think we're just dealing with like Greek mythology and then there's like a bunch of gods in there and trying to figure out like which perk matches what power. Again, I think they're taking the top god in each mythology, and that's how the perks are going to be represented. And I could be completely wrong about this. There's been a lot of speculation going on, but based on what they're doing and the theme that they're going with right now, it looks like it's going this direction. But I'm very excited to see who's going to get the next statue. Hopefully someone will. They've got to send somebody that Zeus or Jupiter statue, and if so, then yeah, we can start definitely putting the pieces together. But let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you next video.